It's a hot one today, but Kyrie looking good. I'm going to talk about Jalen Green and Vučević as well. But we start with Kyrie. He was playing against some high schoolers at an NBA high schooler camp, and he looked pretty good, looked moving well. 34 years old, I believe. Kyrie get buckets. Irving, he one of the guys that I think the Pistons should go after. Yep, he be 35 next year. He looked good now. Like he recovering well. And it's a risk there. The biggest question I probably get is why take the risk with Kyrie and not take the risk with Kawhi. Same age. Simply, it shouldn't cost that much capital to get Kyrie. What you got to take to get Kawhi. And then also, Kyrie been injured throughout his career, but Kawhi is definitely just seemed to be more of the letdown. You know what I'm saying? Definitely seen more of the letdown. There's been times where, Kawhi has just been out and been injured, and then there's times where he don't want to be somewhere. And I think Kyrie would love to play, in a proud black city like Detroit. That's another thing. And I also think Kawhi don't want to be in Detroit. I don't think he want to leave California. But I think it's just more juice left in Kyrie, to be honest with you. Kawhi looked good, but it's just like he was gone for a season, and then they played Phoenix, and then he fell out, then he didn't play. I just don't trust his mental, bro. Mentally, I don't think he tough, and I just trust Kyrie mental a little bit more. And also, the haul for Kyrie is not going to be the haul for Kawhi Leonard. What you going to have to give up to get Kyrie if it don't work or he get injured or something, which is, these players today, yeah, that can happen. But I don't feel like the haul is going to be devastating. I don't think it's going to be a blow where it's championship or bust. What you give up for Kawhi is going to be championship or bust. The picks, it's going to be Duran or Sar. Most likely you probably send Duran out there. The picks. So it's just going to be a hellified blow. And I think with Kyrie, I think you can get a nice deal going, get Kyrie and still able to complement Cade. I think you can still keep Duran. I think you still can keep Asar, get Kyrie. I think, you probably won't be able to get Lindenberg in the draft, but I think you'll still be able to find ways to get help at the 4 spot. And then you rock out. Now, in that deal, can you convince Clay to come to Detroit? Can you sweeten the pot to get Max Christie? Where you can go Jenkins, Christie, who knows? Jenkins, Christie, Karis LeVert probably going to be in that deal for contract purposes. Ryan going to be in that deal going back home to Dallas. I'll tell you that right now. Ryan going to be in the deal. Stu probably most likely going to be in that deal to keep it a bean. It's going to be Stu, Ryan, probably LeVert to make the money work. And I think a possible future pick, probably not even this year pick. You might still end up with Lindenberg. Probably send 2-3 guys over there in the pick, and then for the most part, the question is, if you end up with Lindenberg, or can you end up getting Christie in the deal, and then can you end up getting Lindenberg or another power forward that can help you stretch it out? So in a perfect scenario, if I can trade for Kyrie, I can get Max Christie, which the pot gonna have to be sweetened. So most likely you probably have to give up this pick and next pick to get a guy like Christie. So be it. Can I fill that 4 position? Now we know we got Tobias coming back, but can we find somebody else to play that 4 to get there? You know what I'm saying? So in general, it's gonna cost for you to get Christie, to get Kyrie, and in reality, they'll throw in Clay. Clay just gotta want to come. But if I can get Christie, if I can go Jenkins, Christie off the bench, B-Ball, Paul, and I don't know who else they got to find another wing, like LeVert, who again, maybe they bring back Herter, see if it worked. But yeah, I think at that position with Kyrie, I don't think the deal is so steep where you still can't make moves. But in general, another guy that we talked about but ain't talked about a lot of lately, Jalen Green. I think Phoenix would love to give you Jalen Green. People talking about Devin Booker. I think Phoenix will give you Jalen Green. I think you would talk to Cade about greenlighting the thing for Jalen Green. Right now, he would be demanded to play defense, but I think he can come to Detroit. And once he play defense, I mean, I think he can just be himself as a shot selector. Now, when you kind of talk about Jalen Green, you kind of put him in that category of Zach LaVine. He signed a 3-year deal, so I think he got 2 years left. But you put him in that category as a guy that's really ain't been on a winner like that, but supremely offensively talented, and you need him to play defense. So, you know, if you say, well, Kyrie is too extreme, Kawhi is too extreme for the rest of the injuries, I definitely understand. Scale it down. Jalen Green, you know he's going to give you 20 every night. The potential is growing. Defensively, he's going to be asked to defend in Detroit. What do that deal look like? In reality, it probably look like Ron Hollins, Karis LeVert, probably going over there or something in that deal, going after him. That way, you still can have assets going to get you a Trey Murphy or get you another 4. And then if you can find another shooter somewhere laying around there for it. So that's what it may look like. But obviously, a lot of this is contingent on what happens with Jalen Duren. Because if Jalen Duren is gone, I can sign and trade Jalen Duren, and New Orleans willing to get him the max. I don't know how him and Derek Queen work to keep it a beam, but that's on them. Cool. I mean, hey, I wouldn't do it. If I could sign and trade Jalen Duren and a little bit else for Kyrie, and I get Max Crispy and I still can hold on to my picks, you know, I have another problem. You know, maybe I'll get Lively or Gafford to help me out with that problem. I got a center problem, but I'm pretty sure they got a short list of guys that they will look to bring in to play center here. You know, obviously Isaiah Stewart is going to probably stay here. B-Ball Paul going to stay, and they're going to probably find somebody to rotate in there with them. So that's kind of the interesting thing about it. But, I mean, you know, a guy like Jalen Green, you just want to get Cade's blessing on before you make that move. But explosive player, I mean, him and Cade can grow in that backcourt together. Nemesis, arch enemies, and, you know, I think it's an interesting backcourt, you know. But then you get up out of there and you start talking about Vučević. I mean, Boston, you know, he had some type of injury in Boston. I think that was what was bothering him, getting benched in the championship where they was playing Jaylen Brown on Joel Embiid. So yeah. So realistically, I wouldn't mind seeing it. You know, Vučević being part of the rotation. I don't think he the answer as a starter. Not at all. I don't think he gonna come in and be your guy as a starter, but it's a guy that the Pistons have been eyeing. You know, it's a guy that they've been eyeing, to be honest. Through the years, they've been inquiring about him, his ability to shoot. I think if you lose a Stu, or, you know, you lose a guy like Jalen Duren, maybe you use him with Stu and B-Ball Paul or somebody else to galvanize the crew. But hey, that's all I had. Let me know what y'all think. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Appreciate the love and support. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Peace.